So, Arsenal 2, that lot down the road 1. Player ratings, settings. Kenny Ken's joining me again. And fantastic game, fantastic result. And let's just start off with, let's get straight into it, Kenny. Let's start with Bernd Leno.
He didn't really have much to do, did he, for the first 75 minutes? And I don't think he had a save to make. He was wrong-footed by Kane when Kane hit that free kick in the 90th minute. But, one thing I was happy with Bernd as well, his kicking was good. His handling was very good, especially from crosses. I'm going to give Bernd a 6 because he really didn't have much to do.
Yeah, I noticed he was kicking long rather than passing out from the back today. So he's obviously learnt from his mistake.
Yeah.
Let's go to right back. Today it wasn't Hector Bellerin, it was Cedric. What did you make of his performance?
I thought it was a fantastic performance. Very energetic. Tactically, he was spot on. I'm going to give him a 7.
Okay. Kieran Tierney?
Kieran Tierney, I'm going to give him a 9.
Is he your man of the match, Kenny?
Yeah. It's going to be Ardon Smith-Rowe, but I thought Kieran was absolutely brilliant, especially on the overloads, and he gave Doherty a very hard time.
He was superb. The way he ducks inside and feints to go inside, and then just flips the ball on the outside, and that burst of pace over 5 yards. I think he's probably the quickest player in the league over 5 yards. I think to whip a ball in perfect.
You know what it is, right? It was a shootout between, I think, the two best left backs in the country this season have been Reguilon and Kieran. And I think, it's kind of a shootout between both. If you look at both games, Kieran Tierney has been more prominent in both matches, especially when he was trying to get us back in the game at Tottenham Hotspur Stadium. And today, in a match-winning performance as well, I thought that, it was. I think Kieran Tierney's kind of shaded in terms of public opinion who's the best left back in the country at the moment.
He was quality. My left back, my captain, Kenny. Love him. If we had 11 Tierneys, we'd win the title. But let's move on to centre backs. Let's go with David Luiz.
Well, again, I'm not going to rest until the Arsenal fan base appreciates David Luiz, and probably when he's if he leaves at the end of the season and goes to Benfica or goes back to Brazil, I think Arsenal fans will have appreciation for him. And I'm sure that in the dressing room, his teammates absolutely love him, respect him, and need his guidance and advice. The Martinellis and the Gabriels and Williams definitely look up to David. And today, I'll give him a 7. It was another good performance from David.
Yeah, centre-back partner made an amazing clearance at the end of the game off of the line after Kane had struck the post. I'm flying back. What a clearance. And we didn't really see much of him in the game. And that's down to the fact that the attacking players were working hard. They were getting the ball back. The midfielders were working hard. Didn't really see much of Tottenham as an attacking entity. But what did you make of Gabriel?
I thought Gabriel did fantastically. I think if you look at the game in London at N17, he got sucked in by Kane, and Kane tricked him by. Kane was trying to do it again today, where he wanted to get Gabriel to sort of get into the out of his comfort zone, get out of the box, and mark him as a number 10. And to Kane's disappointment, Gabriel didn't fall for that. And when Kane was like I said, was dominated, you noticed that Kane did a little dirty thing.
Yeah, he really went into him as well.
He really went into him, and Kane was frustrated. And I think that I'll definitely give Gabriel today, give him an 8 today.
Yeah, he was quality. Thomas Partey got nutmegged the Rabona goal.
I think it was complete time.
You can't blame him for that, to be fair.
I think to be honest with Thomas, I thought it was one of his better games today. I think he was flagging a bit. He was getting anxious. He was desperate to win the game, and he started giving away silly free kicks towards the end, which could have got Spurs back in the game. And his shooting wasn't the greatest. But today, I'm going to give him a 7.5 because I thought today's performance was well up on the quality that we need as opposed
Yeah,
to
and
the
he needed
disappointing
that night.
performances.
He needed that game under his
Yeah,
belt as well, didn't he? In a high
yeah.
intensity game,
And,
even albeit they were poor today, it was still a high intense game, and he needed
definitely,
that.
and definitely, and it banishes the ghost of the game in December when he went off injured, and he wasn't on his sort of game management mode, and they went down at the end of the field and scored. So today, I thought it was a really good performance from him.
Mm. His midfield partner, Granit Xhaka. We didn't see much of Granit Xhaka, which normally means he's had a good game, Kenny.
Yeah, well, Granit is what he is in a tin. If you want Granit Xhaka to play like Santiago Caffola and play like Mesut Ozil or Odegaard, then you're going to be very disappointed. He's a pest and a pain in the arse to the opposition. If you tackle him, he goes down like he's broken his leg. He's tactically on it. He's actually probably the most tactically aware player we have. And, he knows how to keep things simple. And again, it was a very quiet performance for him. I'll give him a 6, but not a high 6, because he didn't do too much in attack.
Just kept it ticking, really. Just kept it ticking.
He's just steady Eddie, you know what I mean?
Yeah. Let's move on to number 10. Martin Odegaard, Sky Sports, I believe they gave him man of the match today. He scored again, back-to-back goals now.
Well, I've got the greatest respect for that because, if you score a goal, then what will happen is that you put yourself in a shop window in terms of like getting yourself a man of the match nomination. But for me, I thought it was a very good game. Again, he understood what was required of him. He was relentless. He tackled back for the team. There were times when his mate Partey was trying to do 2 or 3 people's jobs, so he realised that. He said, "Look, let me help my mate out to win." Partey gets caught in possession. He'll go back and win the ball. And I thought, from a tactical point of view, not just the goal, I thought he was fantastic today, but I'm still going to give him a 7.
Let's move to Smith Rowe, left wing. Surprise, really, that he's just come back from injury and he was thrust straight into this game. But I suppose on the flip side, it probably wasn't a surprise because he has grown up at Arsenal and he has played in these ties, albeit in the under 21s, 23s, whatever you want to call it, and all the way through youth setup. He does get it. He's one of the few in our squad that gets it. He was superb, wasn't he?
Well, the thing about it is, I did raise a few eyebrows when him and Odegaard started in the same team because normally when they first got in the team, when they're trying to find their way, it made the team a bit lopsided. They were running into each other's spaces, and it was actually more helpful to the opposition when they both played together than them playing involved. But again, there were clear instructions. Smith Rowe knew what he had to do. He knew that he had to help Kieran Tierney and overlap Doherty because Gareth Bale wasn't going to help out Doherty. So he understood, what was required of him, and he had a great turn of pace, and he was involved. I know you call it pre-assists for the goal, but his overall performance before he got taken off with about 15 minutes to go, I'll give him an 8.5.
Yeah, he was really good today. Let's move to the opposite side. Somebody who got substituted at half time. One of his more quiet games, Bukayo Saka.
Well, I think in terms of Bukayo Saka, it was one of those things where Spurs, did their homework on Bukayo. They know that he's a danger to the team. They, under no circumstances, were they going to let him use his turn of the pace in the counter attack. They blocked him off. In terms of Reguilon, he was given protection, and they got protection as well. And Højbjerg protected Reguilon as well. So in that respect, it was a very hard game for him. I suppose we've always, a lot of fans have said, give him a bit of rest. He's doing 2 or 3 people's jobs. So today, it was a 6. It wasn't a great game for him, but you know what? He'll
learn from that, won't he?
Well, you know what? It just shows you how far he's come as a footballer, that Spurs, paid special attention tactically to trying to stop him from getting influence in the game.
Let's move on to striker. Obviously, everyone raised an eyebrow when they see Aubameyang on the bench. And apparently he missed a team bus, which is why he was on the bench. Not the first time, apparently, he's done a misdemeanor. Lacazette does tend to do well in these games. And again, he scored a penalty. He's come out after the game, apparently. I haven't seen it, but I've been reliably informed that he reckons that it might have been a soft one. Freddie Ljungberger said it was a soft one. Firstly, do you think it was a penalty? And secondly, what did you make of his game?
Well, first and foremost, when you see it and he goes down, you go penalty. But I just want to sort of take it back about maybe 20 years ago or 19 years ago when we played Spurs about the same time, when there was a situation with a situation when we at Highbury when Spurs had the same situation. They miss kick it. They miss kick it, and then the referee gives a penalty for the same sort of situation where the guy actually kicks rather than goes for, he misses a shot. He kicks the Arsenal defender. I think that was Sol Campbell. Sheringham puts it in the back of the net. So 19 years later, we have the same situation. At the time, I was screaming. I was saying that it wasn't a penalty. 19 years ago when I was behind the goal, and I think this situation is kind of similar as well, where it wasn't a penalty. But again, if you make contact, even if it's accidental with a player in the box, the referee has to blow for a penalty. You always tell your striker, you always tell your defenders, if you can't get the ball,
stay on your feet.
Then stay on your feet and you rely on your goalkeeper. That's what they're there for. They practice those situations, and I'm afraid. It was actually 19 years ago. It's Gustavo Poyet had a situation with Sol Campbell where he's kicked Sol Campbell's foot and he's gone down. So it's the same situation. Spurs got their penalty 19 years ago in a 2-1 win for Arsenal. We got our penalty, so it evens itself out historically. But in terms of Lacazette's performance, I thought, you know what? He worked his nuts off like he normally did. There was a frustrating part where, he's finishing, he was snatching at shots. Had that not been a penalty, I think the whole Arsenal fan base would have, like I said, eaten him alive and probably followed him home to have a word with him because it was easier for him. It was easier for him to, get a clean strike on it than kick Davinson Sanchez. And, obviously that dummy to nobody. What I mean? I thought that was a bit frustrating.
I don't know what he was doing with that.
No, but it was a mixed performance from Lacko. He got his penalty, but I'll give him a 6.
Let's go on to the substitutes. Obviously, he brought Nicola Pepe on at half-time. Involved in the pass that led to the penalty. What did you make of his game?
Well, before he got involved in that, he was struggling a bit because I think he proves more effective down the left-hand side, and I was hoping that maybe him and Smith Rowe could have done a switch. But you know what? Lloris basically helped him back in the game because what's happened is that Lloris gave him a gift, and after that, when he felt part of the game and he felt that he created a situation for us to get the second goal, I thought his performance was brilliant. And in the second half, he was a nuisance, and he was giving Reguilon a really, really hard time. So for me, I'm going to give him a 7 because I thought that, he did try to give us some sort of an outlet when Spurs were on top in the last 15 minutes.
Let's move on to what else came on. Mohamed El-Neni and Willian.
Mohamed, there was a situation where he put us in a bit of trouble when he was actually brought on to kind of close things down. He didn't really have much of an impact, so I can only give him a 4.
Yep.
And Willian Borges de Silva, again, a 4. And they were basically brought on to actually close the game down and game management thing. And I think, let's face it, they weren't really able to do that because I thought Lucas Moura, just thought, what, this is Amsterdam 2019 Mark II. So I'm going to try and get my team back in the game, being a hero. And he nearly did it because the last 15 minutes I thought Spurs were fantastic. But again, if you started like that throughout the game, who knows? Maybe me and you would be probably having a sort of virtual pint together as commiseration. So, you don't
drink pints, Kenny. You only drink pints of Ribena.
Yeah, so. But I never said pints of beer, though. I was talking about a pint of Ribena of orange juice.
Last but no means least, he was dressed in the club's colours today. He weren't dressed in Prada or Gucci. And he was wearing the Arsenal hoodie, which is £100 a pop, by the way. But he was decked out in Adidas today. And maybe that's a sign. I thought he was superb. I thought the fact he'd recognised Saka, wasn't being on it. He was nowhere near the level required in the North London derby. And he hooked him at half-time. Big balls to do that. I think his subs came at the right time in the second half as well. And tactically, we battered them.
And I thought Mikel got things right again. I think Mikel's had if you take away like frustration of Burn, I think Mikel's had a good couple of weeks. in terms of his decisions. And I think the good thing that Mikel's got at his fingerprints is that players are hungry, and that he is giving players opportunities, and these players are responding to the fact that Mikel's giving them chances. And you can't say that anyone who's come in since probably the Southampton game in the Cup have disappointed them, not being worth their place. They've all put in a performance and put in a shift for the manager, and all played well. So maybe that's something Mikel could take into, maybe we can have an outside chance to the league. The league in terms of getting into Europe, and maybe we can do more than shadow box in the Europa League. So things are going well for Mikel, and you just hope if Mikel does well, then the football club does well, and who knows, Mikel could turn things around. He's got enough games to do that.
What's your score rating?
My score rating for Mikel's, I'm going to give him an 8. I thought Mikel's attitude was fantastic. Yeah. He didn't want any distractions. Psychologically, a lot of fans were saying, "Why did you let everyone know that you disciplined Aubameyang? Why did you give away tactical information?" But you know what? Maybe, just maybe, he's thinking, you know what? I'm in charge.
Yeah, let me out you. Let me stick it on you. Yeah.
And basically he's saying, look, you don't respect me. I'm not going to respect you, and I'm going to tell the truth of what you've done. And I think, sometimes you've got to say, I'm not having...
With certain players, you can probably get away with that. And he knows the players better than us. Let's be real.
Exactly. So, maybe Aubameyang needed to kick up the backside. I know there's some conspiracy theorists who are saying first it was Ozil, now it's Aubameyang. Well, you know what? If they're badly behaved and they've got ill discipline and they're not singing from the same hymn sheet, then they need to be exposed.
Absolutely spot on. Kenny, thank you again for coming on, man. Appreciate it. Make sure you go and follow Kenny Ken, 1972. It was his birthday the other day. And make sure you follow him on Twitter and Insta, Kenny Ken 1972. Kenny, always love, man. Have a wicked evening, and thank you very much. Come on,
we won, so of course I'm going to have a good time.